What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Kyle, and in this video, we're going to be going over my July 2026 net worth. And for the last few months, I have been doing videos going over what my net worth is with my assets versus my liabilities, and just kind of tracking that over the last few months. I plan on to continue doing this type of content as well as start getting into my actual investing accounts, my investing strategy, and other stuff like that. But I'm currently 26 years old at this very moment. I did move back home for the last few months, living with my folks, and this is actually going to be my last month, 26. I'm turning 27 in August, and next month I'm also moving out, and I'm going to start paying rent, which is obviously a huge cost factor. So having to do that is going to probably significantly, hold back some of that, some of the growth I've been seeing over the last few months. But it's part of life. It's part of expanding horizons, whatever you want to say. And so, I had a great time here. I was down in Phoenix for a year. I've lived here for about 6 to 8 months, and now I am moving again. So it was great. I highly recommend, if you guys can take a few months to live back home and really set yourself up or get right in your finances, it can help a ton. And other than that, let's just get right into it. I just have the standard assets over here. Here's pretty much everything I own. I do not own a home. And so if we go to my individual brokerage, it is currently at $176,000, close to $177,000. And you can see here that pretty much every month we've seen growth in this account. In June, I actually changed my brokerage from Fidelity to Robinhood, and I got a 2 or 3% match. And so that's why you can see a pretty significant jump there. And so I just have to, obviously, I have to keep my assets invested there for a certain amount of years, and I get to keep that money. But that's why you see a pretty significant jump between May and June. But obviously, the market's been pretty much up. We had a few week period almost, at the beginning of the year, March, April, where we had a slight correction, but really it's just been kind of up. And last few months, it's actually kind of just been back and forth. But a few of my holdings have gone up over the last few months. And so without getting into those details, it's been, a great year in the market overall. 401k, this is a 5% match that I get from my employer. And so every paycheck, I'm getting that match, 100% return. And that is the max I'm doing in my 401k. And obviously that's, standard financial advice you get from everyone, get that match. And if you're not comfortable investing that in an individual brokerage, then that is something that, maybe you should go up in addition to your match. So, 5, 10, 15%, whatever you're comfortable with. But I want to have that option. I want to have the individual brokerage as an option for when I'm in my 40s, 50s, and 60s, until I'm able to actually access that 401k and that Roth money. And so Roth, currently at 6,106. This is actually an account that has gone down over the last few months. The main reason is that I've actually been pretty heavily invested in gold. And this is like my gold allocation. I'm going to mix up the allocation. Not to be a doomsdayer, but I'm a big fan of gold. I think it's going to outperform. Central banks are buying it without getting down all the investment philosophy around gold. Every day they print money, assets go up, and that's why that really helps the stock market always go up and to the right, and that's what will help gold pretty much always go up and to the right. Checking account, this is currently at, $4,200. I try to keep this between $3,000 and $5,000, $3,000 and $6,000. This is just money that now I'm going to be paying rent with, but just to have around if I ever need to access it. I have a pretty significant cash position in my actual individual brokerage account as well, just sitting there getting 3.5% with Robinhood, but that's also kind of in my emergency fund. Car, this is $19,000. I do check kind of the Kelley Blue Book of this, and it's a pretty conservative amount, so I'm keeping it at $19,000. Maybe in a few months I'll drop that by $500 or so. And then other, I just keep this at $1,000. This is my computer. This is my laptop. This is my golf clubs. These are kind of my big things that I just have laying around that I could pretty easily turn into cash within 72 hours to a week. And so with all that being said, this takes my full assets to $218,000. And so we can see this has been going up pretty steadily each and every month. All right. And so now let's get into my liabilities. And this is mainly just credit card debt. And then I also have some personal buy now, pay later loans, medical debt, and auto loans. And so we can just go through here. Capital One credit card has a $1,000 balance on it currently. Discover credit card currently has $124 on it. And then Robinhood, this is the card that I'm going to be mainly using going forward, just because it is going to be part of my investment strategy going forward, and how I'm going to be using Robinhood in that ecosystem and all that. But going forward, Robinhood's pretty much going to be the main one. I did go on a family trip for my brother's 21st birthday down to Vegas, and so there was a little bit of spending in there. Nothing too crazy, but overall, within the range of what it's pretty much been at. I mean, I put everything on a credit card, so this is just random monthly spending, and over the last 2 months. And so Affirm/Klarna, $539. Again, I've said this in some past videos, but sometimes I don't want to spend money at all. And sometimes for things I need, things that will help my career, things that will help my daily just life. For example, I bought a air conditioner for the summer, and I put that on Affirm/Klarna just because it was available. And it's tremendously made me work better. It's made my life significantly better. And so I'm willing to pay the extra, $50 to $100 that I'm going to be paying on that. That's probably not going to be that. It's probably going to be like $25 to $30 just to get that over the hump. And so, is it financially smart? No, but it's probably paid back tenfold in being a high performer at my work, with studying, with doing other things that I need to do at the desk, and not being, miserably hot. And so that's kind of just a mind hack on me. Is it smart? No, but it's just how it is. Medical debt, $1,796 with that. And so we can see this has slowly been coming down every single month. That'll be paid off probably within by October or November. And then finally, my auto loan is $500 a month. And so with all of that, let's make that white. So with all that, finally, my total net worth comes down to $212,743. And so we can see pretty much every single month, this has grown pretty significantly. 6,000, it's grown almost $6,000 every single month. And a lot of that has been great market returns. A lot of that has been, I haven't been paying rent. I've just been doing, providing food, buying groceries, helping out where I can. But again, this is just kind of the hack you can get, especially if you're just coming out of college, where it's okay to go back and move home, especially if you can find a pretty decent job back home and just get your life right. If you can get your foundation set when you're 22, 23, 24, it's a super, it's a hack. You can really set yourself up to be flexible going forward, being able to live where you want, potentially being able to go and do a few things in your mid-20s to late 20s that won't break the bank. And so highly recommend it. It really is. And when you're in your younger 20s, it's not a big deal. People aren't like, oh, you're living at home. It's almost accepted. People almost applaud you. Even now that I'm 26, when I tell them, hey, I'm still back home for right now, they're like, yeah, heck yeah. I mean, stack that cash, put that money away. And so if you're going to live at home, you do need to be putting in the market. You need to be putting that difference that you would be paying a rent, $1,000, $1,500, whatever your rent would be, and make sure that gets in the market. But other than that, that's my full net worth. If we go down here, you can see this, the bar graph has, been trending upwards to the right. And going forward, this, I won't see this growth mainly because I'm going to be, like I said, paying rent. And so my rent's going to be between, I haven't signed it yet fully, but it'll be between, $1,200 to $1,300, $1,400 with parking and utilities and all that stuff. And so it's a little bit pricey. And it's a price, I'm willing to pay to move on with my life and get to a point that, maybe it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Maybe it's not. But it's a decision that I wanted to make. So that is the July 2026 full net worth breakdown. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Hopefully you all had a great July, and hopefully we can finish out this year well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later.